Brightburn is a movie from 2019 starring Elizabeth Banks, David Denman, and most importantly, our little superhero, Jackson Dunn. It's all about the thought of, what if Superman was evil instead of good, as a child? When I first heard about the plotline of Brightburn, and knowing that it had an MA rating, I just had to see this movie. For a long time when I was younger, my parents, my mum and my dad, they wouldn't let me watch M movies, or MA or R, for those in Australia. So as I got older, I decided to make a list of all the movies that I wanted to see. This included the old Spider-Mans, the old Men in Black movies, the Rambos, Terminators, Matrix, just some of the usual blockbusters. But as I got older, my mind started to going towards superhero movies, but not just like your Marvel or your DC. We're talking about the movies like the Kick-Ass 1 and 2, Unbreakable, Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Hancock, Green Hornet. Like superhero movies that weren't your typical DC or Marvel. Not your typical family-friendly kind of movies. These movies interest me because I simply just found them more interesting. I think there was more to think about with these movies. And this has got to be why Watchmen, The Dark Knight, and Logan are probably my 3 favorite movies of all time. And as well as this, having superhero movies that aren't the same as the others is probably a reason why I like Shazam a lot. I went to see it last week, but unfortunately the theaters, they're not really as packed as I thought they would be. It's kind of like the same situation when I went to see Glass with my mate Liam. And for some reason, not too many people were interested in this. Because of my upbringing, I've stayed away from a lot of horror stuff, like the books, Resident Evil games, movies, like that. But slowly, I think I've started to get a bit more into it. So like, one thing that I've done is I've gone to like catch up on the Conjurings. So they've been pretty good, at least the first. And one thing I try to do now is go to the movies every time a new Conjuring movie comes out and see it at the theater, just so I'm caught up with it. So I've done that with my mate Ricky for the past 2 movies, when we went to see The Nun and also The Kiss of the Weeping Woman. But honestly, those movies kind of sucked. The only real ones in The Conjuring I liked was Conjuring 1 and 2. And for Brightburn, the question is, was it really a horror movie? In my opinion, I don't think so. But the movie was amazing, to say the least. Screenplay writers of this movie are Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, and the producer was James Gunn. So we had 3 Gunns, and they were pretty much making this movie from their vision. And I think that giving it the MA rating really helped to take away any kid-friendliness. What I mean is that they were able to really explore what could go wrong with a young, almost teenage, evil Superman. They were really able to get into that. Directors and everyone involved, they need to express. Like, David Lynch said that cinema is just moving art, or moving portraits, and portraits is art. Cinema is art, and for like people to take away the visions of what people want to do in their movies, it's really not good, because we're not getting the movies that was supposed to happen. It's the same with Justice League, and that sucked, and it's the same with Fantastic Four as well. It's the same with Fantastic Four, and also it's the same with Justice League. They really weren't that good of movies, but that's because the director wasn't really allowed to make his movie. Honestly, I'm not much of a squirmer when it comes to like the body stuff or gross outs movies and stuff. Although I haven't seen Saw. I did, however, see The Thing and also The Fly, review and description, and they have some pretty shocking, disgusting stuff. So since I saw those two movies, I thought I should be alright. But this movie did have me squirming. I mean, there was some pretty disgusting stuff, honestly. It was pretty terrifying seeing just what could happen if there was a kid Superman that didn't really want to do. It also showed us what could happen if you let a kid be unstoppable and just do whatever he wanted, and what chaos could truly happen. It made me really think about Batman vs. Superman and what Batman, or Bruce Wayne, says to Alfred, I think, about Superman. He has the power to take out the entire human race, and if there's just 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take this as an absolute certainty. You know, the more I think about it, the trailer of Batman vs. Superman really has some amazing quotes. Like what Martha Kent says to Superman. People hate what they don't understand. Clark, be their hero. Be their monument. Be anything you need them to be. Or be none of it. You don't owe this world a thing. Our little man, Mr. Brandon Breyer, in the movie Brightburn, he really takes the be none of it quote very seriously. He does not give up. He does not give any care. Word of advice, please prepare yourself for body horror. If you don't know what that is, look that up. Type in David Cronenberg movies. Because it really shows you just how powerful a kid with superpowers can be. Especially when he's hating authorities like the police, like his uncles, parents, all that kind of stuff. It shows you extreme. Is that a spoiler? This movie does not at all care about your feelings towards violence. It's very violent. Please make sure your kids are able to, not be scared of this stuff. Just be careful watching this. The movie itself only goes for 91 minutes, and for me, I thought that was good. I guarantee you that whoever saw this movie knew that the story is about what if a kid Superman turned evil. What could happen? So when I saw this movie, I thought, hey, this is good. There's no backstory, nothing like that. It's just getting straight to the point. And that's the reason why I actually enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming, because they didn't waste time with Spider-Man's backstory and stuff. He already was Spider-Man. And that kind of has to do with Civil War as well. We didn't see Peter Parker get bitten by a spider again. We didn't see Uncle Ben die. We didn't even see Uncle Ben. But we had already seen it, so there was no need to see it again. Just like with Brightburn, there was no real need to see the spaceship crash, because we already knew it was about opposite Superman, and we've already seen that in the first Superman Returns. I think they showed it. Smallville, Man of Steel, it's all there. And even in comics, you don't really have to show it again. Funny story about this movie, Brightburn, is that I actually got to the movies late. So when I walked into the theater, it started with the mother painting. So for all of you who have watched it, I missed out on the spaceship crash. So the bit I was at is Brandon sleepwalks, but he flies out of his bedroom window. That's the part I got, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And I think if they started it like that, it might have been a better movie. I only found out about that scene at the start from watching the trailer, or I think I was told it by someone else. Actually, the only way I know about that is from watching Jeffrey John's movie review, link in description. He was the one that mentioned this as well. One thing I didn't really like was about the ending of Brightburn. I didn't like how they played Billie Eilish's bad guy at the end. I thought it was a bit, I don't know, a parody sort of thing. And then having Michael Rooker come in. Wait, spoilers. The ending thing, the whole TV news thing, and the music at the end, I think kind of ruined the movie. Like, not a lot. I mean, you can always, like, walk out before that happens, but I thought it was just too silly for such a serious movie. And I know James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, which, like, mixes up action with comedy, but I didn't really think it was necessary for this movie, so I felt that that kind of wrecked it a little bit. Like, I'd rather just have it end, and that's it. Hopefully there will be a sequel to it, where they, like, show maybe another kid. Something like that. But honestly, I'm pretty alright with it just being a standalone movie, just like that. And I do remember walking out of the movies and just being like, what the hell did I just see? Really? Overall, I think it was a pretty good movie. I think it had a lot of gore, had a lot of like horror elements, but not necessarily horror, like a few jump scenes and stuff. Because he's like super fast. He's got Superman's powers of strength, speed, laser eyes, stuff like that. He can hear what everyone's saying, I think. But like, he's got all of Superman's powers. The ones you can think of. I did enjoy it, and I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Because it was pretty damn good. And honestly, I'd like to see more of these movies. Like, Logan was good because it had a lot of gore, superhero stuff like that. It wasn't like costumes, anything like that. I did enjoy Logan a lot. And this movie was a bit more violent, I'd say, than Logan. I think as the movies keep rolling out, they're just gonna up the violence. You can especially see that with John Wick 3 as well. Anyways, go out and see the movie if you haven't. If you can handle this stuff, then definitely go and see it. If you liked Logan, definitely go and see this one. If you like Superman, go and see this one. If you're old enough, go and see this one. If you want to see more reviews, just subscribe to all that stuff. Next week, we will be reviewing Pokemon. Next week, we will be reviewing Pokemon Detective Pikachu starring Ryan Reynolds. Anyways, I'll see you guys later in the next review. Have a good one.